All right, so we're talking about how do we integrate Firebase to this project, okay? All right, now, first of all, you're gonna make sure you already have a project set up. And that's the part I kind of misunderstood last time. I thought you can create a brand new project, but actually this integration works perfectly with an existing project. Okay, let's say this is the project we already have, and then these are all the demos we showed before, mostly related with the UI. Okay, what we want to show you right now is how do we set up this one with a Firebase integration. Okay, to use all the cool Firebase projects services they provided. So I kind of briefly showed you last time that you need to go to Firebase from Google and create an account. And then from there, you create a project, okay? I just have too many projects. I can't create more, so I'm gonna use one of them. I kind of showed you, okay, any one of those, it will have these services for databases, for authentications. These are the things that we're primarily gonna use, but you can also do the storage service. You can use some of the AI functions, all of those works, okay? So going back, assume you already have this one project set it up, okay? So in going back, I'm going back to Android Studio. All right, so we need to add a lot of dependencies, configurations, because Google Cloud, Firebase, they use their way to authenticate everything, the keys stuff, right? So what we should go is something called Flutter Fire. So they got an official site to really support the Firebase for the Flutter. So they're doing a lot of development on this one. I think 2 years ago, this thing doesn't exist. But they know that Firebase is so popular for mobile, Flutter is so popular, so they want to make this happen and make it really easy. Okay, we definitely can see a lot of improvement. So you want to start from getting started. This is a big change. That's something I want to show you last time, that really use the command line to configure this. Now, you don't have to use this approach. You can also use the old approach to download the file, everything. Command line is so much simpler, okay? Let me show you how it works. So scroll down. And first of all, you need to make sure that your Flutter project has a dependency added, so called a Firebase core. In general, you actually add it here in the YAML file. So if you go here in the YAML file configuration, this is where the dependency happens. I showed you how to do the HTTP dependency. You can then do a Firebase core. Okay, that's the traditional way how to do it, but they highly recommend you do it with the command line, which is a lot easier. Okay, let's try that. In order to do that, you need to go back to your terminal to find out that server. Close this one here. Not server, sorry. To find out your project. I think we're under the Flutter recipes. This is our project here. Same thing. Okay. Now, first of all, you need to make sure that you have the command configured for the Flutter. So if you type Flutter in your terminal, it should work. Okay. Now, this part, if you don't have it, that means you didn't have the path set up, right? The environment variables. Like in Mac or Linux, you can find this path, and then you can see this is where my Flutter is located right here. Okay, in Windows, you go to the environment variable to set it up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check the Flutter documentation when you get started. For example, you install something. Once you extract it, they ask you to set this one here, update your path. Okay, that's the part you should do. That way you can run this command easily in anywhere you want. Or in Mac, they showed you the same thing for the Mac. So you can also set up the path like this. All right, so that's what we need here. But I already have this one. So the end result is that you can run this command called Flutter, okay, anywhere you want. So it's very convenient. Okay, so with this one done, you're ready to run their command. So go back to the Flutter Fire. So first of all, we need to add a dependency in the command. Let me show you why we do this way. So if I do this, I hit enter. So it's going to automatically not only install the package, but also update our YAML file configuration. It also specifies the latest version, and also more importantly, resolving the conflicts on the dependencies. So after this command is done, so go back to the YAML file, you can see they automatically added this one. So I didn't do this one. I didn't choose the version, so they figure out the right version, the latest version without conflicts. So that's the advantage of doing that with the command line. Okay, so that's why they've made a lot of improvement, make your job a lot easier. Okay, that's step one. Step two, in general, you need to actually go to the Firebase, go to project setting, and then you need to add a file. I will show you something very quick. For example, I want to add this file here. I click on add, and then I go to Android. I need to do that one by one. I show some kind of a package name here, and then I register it. And then after that, I download the file. Download this file. I need to put it into this folder. A lot of steps, and this is only for Android. Now you need to do the same thing for the iOS. Figure out the bundle ID, everything. It's a lot of work. Okay, very hard to explain. Also very hard to follow it correctly. It's very easy to miss some of the steps. So that's why they have this tool to help you to do it. You can skip all of this. What you need is to enable this Flutter command line interface. Okay, so you just need to run this command, copy this one here, go to my project folder, run this command. So this is going to activate this Flutter Fire command line interface. Hit enter. Again, it's going to download everything, install it. I already done that, so that's why it's a lot faster. But after that, this is a step I missed. I didn't check this carefully. So again, they install this one in this home folder here. So you have to specify this path. Otherwise, you can't recognize that command. So I have to run this one. Same way, okay? So to specify the path environment variable so that you can run this command anywhere. So I run this command here. Then go back, I can do this Flutter Fire config command. So now if I do, for example, Flutter Fire, and this command is working. Last time I got stuck here because I didn't read this one. I have to run the path command. Okay, so if you have this one, I can do Flutter Fire configure, right? That's what they do. Yeah, this command. So if I do this one, hit enter, it automatically fetching the available Firebase project. So this is the really cool part. However, I think I can't show you one step. They probably ask you to do the Google authentication first. I probably already done that. So that's why it automatically pull all my projects. So if I don't have this one, you probably just will need to pop up window to do some authentication, log in with Google, and then it will be able to load everything from a Google account. As you can see, here are all the Firebase projects I have. I have a lot of this. Okay, I'm an old Firebase user. Okay, probably in the very beginning. So that's why I'm running all their project account. But anyway, so you can choose any kind of project created here. Okay, I'm going to just choose. I'll do this. I forgot which one would be the best one to use. Flutter Summer. I think that's the one I was using to create a lot of Flutter project. Okay, so I'm going to choose this Flutter Summer project. It's already in my Firebase project. You should create one project first, okay? And I hit enter. And then they ask me to specify which type of platform I want to support. As you can see, you can do Android, you can do iOS, you can do the macOS, and also the web. Okay, all is supported. So the Firebase support all of this platform. So in this command line, you just want to say which one you want to use, and then they will do the configuration for you. So I would highly recommend you just select all of them. Okay, just to try see how to run all this one at different platform. I'm gonna hit enter, and then that's it. Okay, they're gonna run all this configuration. What they do is that they go to your Firebase command to register the app and set up the settings, and then download the file, and then put all the configuration into your file, and that's what they do. Okay, so if I go back to my Firebase, let me find out that project. I think it's something called Flutter Summer. This one here. So I go here, and then I go to project settings. So as you can see, this one, the recipes. I did not create this. Okay, it was taken care of by this command line. Okay, now what's more cool about this is that not only they set up this one, they configured the project. So you go open the library folder, you got this new file called Firebase options. So it specifies all different options, and these are the password and keys to connect to your Firebase. Okay, it's just super convenient. It's just 2 commands. You add a dependency, you run the configure, choose the option, everything done. Okay, Again, if you ever done this one in the past with the manual process, you will see the advantage. Okay, super convenient. Okay, so with all the dependencies, you should be able to reload everything and then run it. But right now you're not using the service, you can't see the difference, but you're done with the configuration. Okay, so going back to the file page here to see if anything else we missed. So once you're done with this one, they all ask you to initialize the app. That's something also added in new, which wasn't in my previous video. So you will need to go to here to do this kind of initialization. And let's just follow that. And then we will need to import the Firebase core and also the Firebase options. So we'll go to the main file, go all the way to the top right here. We'll add the dependencies, which is already here in our project. And then for the main method, you will need to do this one. Okay, that's just some kind of initial initialization process they need. Okay, now you see this one is await. That means that this operation is taking some time. It's asynchronized. So if you decided this one you want to await on this one, that means this code here need to be marked as asynchronized. Okay, so if you do that, it's clear the error. So you should be good to go. That's the exact what they showed here for the code. All right, so then you're finally done with the initial process. Okay, so I'm going to run this one more time, make sure there are no errors happening. Oh, there is. Okay, this one, when you see this one, this is also a very common error you probably will see sometimes. Be careful. Okay, it says that no implementation found for this method on this project core. No implementation found means that there's no code found for this one. You don't know what to do. You're trying to use this method. I don't have the implementation. I don't know what to run, what to do. Normally, when this happens, is because that you have new dependencies added. Go to YAML file. I added this one here, and then even though the dependency is configured, but for some reason you don't find the code. Maybe you already downloaded it, but they still can't find it. So generally, the reason is that you didn't code restart your app, because every time I'm running this green button to kind of almost the same as hot load, but they did not synchronize all the files that you just added. So all you need to do is stop it, run this one more time. It's going to trigger the whole build process again to put all the dependency file there and run it over. So make sure all the files will be there. Okay, so let's try and wait for this a little bit. All right, this time everything looks good, and then run everything, and you don't have any errors. You see device unlock, initialize all the APIs for this app. So that's how it shows that you're good to go to use Firebase. All right, that's how it works. Okay, so again, we have Firebase. What do we do with it? All right, so there are primarily three things I want to show you for the Firebase. I want to show you authentication. I want to show you the databases, and also I want to show you the storage. If I have time, I also want to show you more about machine learning. Very useful, practical stuff. Okay, let's start from authentication. I briefly talked about this one last time. So authentication is basically they build this whole security system database for you to log in, handle all the sign-up login, the passwords stuff, right? So as some of you already know some cybersecurity stuff, doing a login isn't hard. You just need to save the username and password. But if you want to do it in a professional and secure way, when people sign up on your service, you shouldn't save the real password in the text, right? It's very, very dangerous. Somebody hack your server, they're going to read all the passwords from users. So you must hash them, okay, encrypt them. So even though somebody hack your server, they see the hash version, they can't see what's the original password. Okay, nowadays probably all the companies are doing the best practice, but 10, 15 years ago, all the companies are just doing all the plain text. That's why a lot of hackers, you see this news all the time that the password are exposed, right? The big risk about all the password issue is not just you lose the access to this service. The bigger issue is that everyone using the same password for everything. So they basically use this combination to log into all of other things, right? So that's really why all the companies want you to increase the strength of your password and change the password every period of time. So that's basically the idea behind it. Anyway, we don't need to worry about how do we build all this security database, hash everything too much. Okay, we're a mobile developer. And you want to focus on the UI, functionality, the workflow, user experience. You don't have time to do everything. So Firebase is going to take care of that. Okay, let's see the authentication, how it works. For authentication, the main thing we need is sign up and login, right? So you need to go here, make sure you configure. So what kind of sign up approach you want to use? Okay, here, let's just show you the very basic email and password. You want to make sure you enable it. And then you can also do Google login, a lot of other login. So they make it very simple. Okay, so let's see the email password first. Once you enable, you should be good. And then we need to go back to our app to show you how that works. All right, so let me go back to the code. And probably I'm going to start to build another screen very quick to show you the actual login and authentication. Okay, so looks like we're running out of space, but let me just add one more. First of all, let's just add a screen, and I'm going to copy. I think we have something that similar to this one, right? So I'm going to show you the text field. Yeah, so this is perfect. I'm going to read you the text field. Okay, copy, paste. I'm going to show demo Firebase authentication. All right, so let me change the name. All right. So once we have it, let's actually go to the main.dart. Make sure we have one more option there. We need to save some space for this. Okay, let's go all the way to the bottom. Okay, so let's run this one more time. Here's the demo. I click on a button and I go to this page here. Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna do a very simple thing here again. So this is a Firebase authentication. So let's actually change. So we have a username and password set up. We also need two buttons. This one will be login, and then this one will be sign up. All right, so let's refresh that code. So login, sign up. All right, right now when I click on that, it just show you the oh, this one showed the changes. Okay, but here let's just print out the both. All right, so I can go here, have the username and password. Click on login and sign up. You can read all of this. So this is just a very basic login setup. Okay, UI setup. Now, let's see what do we do. We're gonna start from the sign up because anytime you need to have a new user first, and then you can try to log in. All right. So that's when you need to use the SDK from Firebase. You need to program that, right? And then again, any kind of a service, you have to add the right dependency first. Okay. So for that, so anything you can do, you can find in the documentation. Okay. So let's see. Do you want to do the authentication? Click on the overview. You can watch all of this. Okay. As you can see, you can add this dependency. That's the recommended way to go with it. Okay. I'm going to go here. Try this again. Add Firebase authentication. Again, you don't have to do this one. You can also manually add it in the YAML file, but I'm going to just run here. It's going to download all the latest version, solve the conflicts, and then it should be good. So you go back to the YAML file here, and you see they have the authentication package added. All right, so that's the recommended way. So next steps using authentication. All right, that shows you in the get import for the library, you have this instance, and then you can start to use this one in the app. So in different ways, okay? And then here you can listen to some of their changes, ID token changes, a lot of features, but I'm gonna show you the one you normally need for the you know, sign up and login. Okay, so let's try that. So again, read the document. They got a lot of good features. They even have the email link authentication. If you just want people to log in with the email link, they also support it. You can also do the forget a password. So that's called a service. So you don't have to implement all of this yourself. Firebase is going to take care of that for you. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to import this library into my code. Also, just to be safe, let's stop this app and run this again. Make sure you get all the dependencies ready for this app. Okay. All right, so I go back to my Firebase authentication. I will need to add this dependency here as step one. And then what I should do here is if I click on the button to sign up, okay, I want to sign up a user. Okay, that's what we want to do. And this is really easy. So I go back here. So everything, you should actually get an instance from the Firebase authentication class. And then if you ever learned design pattern, there's a pattern called a Singleton Pattern. How many of you heard about Singleton Pattern? Okay, yes, a couple of you, very good. So it's a very important pattern in the object-oriented programming that sometimes you see, you don't have to create an object. Okay, you just want to use that same instance. I can't give you too much detail here, but this is the way of a typical way of a Singleton pattern. Okay, you can look at some documentation, very simple way of programming, make sure you all use the same instance. So I go here, I go Firebase authentication dot instance, and then you press another dot, you should be able to see all the functionalities available to you. As you can see, just read the names, you can see what they do. So you can see sign in anonymously, sign in with credential, with a custom token, link, phone number, all the ways you can, since you can sign out. Send password reset email. You want to do that, just click on the button, it's done. So every function deals with one feature from security from authentication. So that's the power of security service from Firebase. You don't need to do anything. You just need to call this functionality and it's just super simple. Okay, so let's start with the sign up. It's something called a create a user with email and password. I'm going to do this one. Okay, function call. Very easy to use. As you can see, it pop up 2 parameters. You have to provide email, that's your password. Sorry, that's the username, and then the password. It's that simple. All right. So we already know how to grab email. It's actually coming from the username here. That is your user email. And then this is the password. I'm going to grab that and then put it here. It's done. All right. You just need to send the username, email, and the password to the Firebase. They're going to take care of everything. Okay. So let's actually, I'm going to delete this too. Okay. And then, but this is not finished. The reason is that this call here, if you click on the call here, look at the definition. You see the future again. Okay, the return type is the future. Now we didn't cover it too much last time, but the future is related with, if you see future, that means this call, this function is asynchronized. So it will not wait on this one. Okay, if you run this code, it will go and it's going to come back at some point. Okay, that's what the future means. The future means the result will be back sometime in the future. Okay, now you got to be very familiar with this type of programming. Okay, if you see something like a future, there are normally 2 ways you can do about it. One way is that if you want to make sure, okay, I want to make sure you sign up successful. I want to see if it works or not. I just want to wait here. That's why you do a wait. Because otherwise it goes, your program goes, you don't know what's going on. You don't know whether it's successful or not. And you know, you have found other way to check it that doesn't sound very convenient. Okay, that's why you see a lot of wait. Sometimes you just want to see the result done. You want to make sure this is finished before you move on to the next line. You just wait on here. In many cases, in this case, you don't have to wait because that's against the purpose of asynchronize, right? Asynchronous means that I want you to go, you do your work, and then just let me know once you finish, and let me know when the things is done. Okay, so if you want it that way, what you can do is that we can actually save this variable. Okay, so let me show you two things. First of all, let's actually break down the line, okay, because this is very hard to read. Okay, so this is the same line of code, right? Nothing changed. So is this one actually return to the future user credential? Okay, let's actually write it down. So it's called a future user credential. I'm going to call this user credential future. Okay, just name. So that's a return type. Now, with this return type, what can you do with it? Okay, you basically specify, okay, I know this is going to come in the future, but I want you to do something once you come back, whether it's successful or not. So you do that by saying UC future dot then. Okay, this then function comes with any kind of future object. So you can do then. As you can see, it's inside another function here. Okay, so this is just a lambda kind of expression. And then what you can do is just, I normally just replace that with the brackets, okay? Because rarely you need a multiple, you normally need more lines with this. And then let me actually finish this line. Okay, so you got to be very familiar with this kind of structure because you will use this all the time in the Firebase. Everything is future based. So you always need to do a then and then a function. So this is the return value, and then that's the code you can run. So I'm going to print to say successfully sign up the user. So that means if this one is finished successfully, then please run this code here. That's what it means. Okay. You can also say UC future dot catch error. Okay, you're going to say if the things is not done successfully, please print failed to sign up the user. All right. And then whenever this one happens, they will actually return you the error. So you can actually print what the error is. Just like how Java handled the exception. Okay. So let's try this to see how it works. I'm going to run this code again. Okay, something is wrong. And is that because of it here or? Okay, so let me stop it again. Make sure that's not a cause.
Professor,
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a similar error, and I think you have a string that's set to null, but Dart took away that functionality. The string cannot be null.
Okay, so then do you know where that happens?
It might be happening on line 59 when you do error dot with two strings. There is no error null. I'm not sure though.
Okay, well, that's why I just commented
Yeah,
out.
but I
So
saw you do that, so I was like,
let's try that again. Well, this actually helps. Yeah, so they constantly changing all of this this language. Or is that this part here? All right, well, let's Google it.
The text controllers null by default.
No, they actually have the object, right?
Instead of creating a new variable, we just continue the statement with dot then.
Yeah, that's what I want to show next. But that shouldn't matter, right? That shouldn't make a difference. Yeah, I was gonna show this one first, and then I show the other way. That's very weird. So okay, so let's actually Google this one. This one never, I have never seen this one. Okay, so the Flutter version. Okay, so let me try to bump it up to see if that's gonna fix it. Yeah. So this one, just be careful because they again they update the version a lot. Okay, so let's see if I go to downloads. I think I recently have a new version. This one, this is the very new one, 2.10.3. Let's try that. Apply it. But hopefully that doesn't break other things. Yeah, so this is nothing to do with our code. I think this is complaining about the Firebase Authentication. I think one of their code don't have a return. That's why they're complaining about. So either we upload our Dart version or we downgrade that version. Probably I can also solve the problem. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I'm just worried that I bumped the Dart version. But so far we are not using too many things, so it should be okay. Yeah, this one looks promising. All right, so this is a little different error that I think this is about some of the other. Uh, right. My guess is that again we changed the version, then there's a Gradle thing in the Android also. It's different. So what should we do with that? All right, so it's actually under Android and then right here. All right, I'm gonna try this. Let's add another version. So the latest version, what is the latest version? Assume that's this one here. Is that how it works? Let's have one more. Mhm. Okay, so but it said Android build upgrade, but let's just try the other one. Okay, so well, why don't we try this because it says. Yeah, we really don't, we shouldn't actually make all the changes by ourselves because it's gonna bring a lot of issues. All right, so let's try Google this one. Flutter. Okay, so we need to put that one inside. Okay, let's try this, okay? So put this one in the build script. Oh, right here, sorry, I didn't see it. There's this one. All right, it's a little bit promising. Anyway, I'm gonna send the link also in the chat. It's related, okay? So save this link just in case you saw the errors. And this is another one. Okay, so far so good. Okay, it builds. All right. Yeah, that's complaining my emulator running out of space. But yeah, this one is fine. All right, so you can see this one also got the authentication service up and running, and I click on here, and then the code works. But I do need to uncomment out this. All right, let me run this one more time. Okay, it starts. Okay, let's see how it works. So Authentication Demo. I'm going to type an email. They require an email address. Okay, so I'm going to do 2022 at cpp.email. All right, password 12345. I'm going to sign up first. All right, something is triggered. And I know that's why I'm looking for the error messages. Yeah, so I guess I probably shouldn't do it this way. Oh, actually, wait, it shows. Yeah, I think there are quite a lot of new changes going on, and but my guess is, well, you know, I kind of made a mistake because I was trying to show you how this whole future works, because this future object actually have this then and a catch error message to let you specify what do you do when you successfully sign up and what do you do when you have something wrong. Okay, but obviously this is not good because this happens so fast. So this one will be executed and then you specify this one here, this one here. It's a little bit too late. So I'm going to change it, okay? Because that I was going to change it back anyway. So what we should do is, as this right here, you know, as you call this, I immediately say then. Okay, that's the same thing I showed you, just like down here, exactly the same. I'm going to copy the code over. All right. Why this one is complaining? Okay, so then we don't need this one anymore. Okay, and then after that, I do catch error. And now I put this message right here. So that's what I was going to show you the final version, but you know, I was trying to break it down to show you why this code looks like this, but unfortunately that shouldn't be the right way to do it. Okay, let me test it one more time. Okay. But this is the final simplified version. It's just one line of code, but I don't want to show all this together, so it looks a little bit confusing. Okay, go to authentication. So I try one more time. I do a password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do sign up. Oops. Okay, so it's definitely very slow and doesn't look like a typical process. Oh yeah. So wait, the network. Okay, so is this a emulator connected? Well, it is. Network request failed. That doesn't seem to be right. Okay, let's make sure that this one is actually not. Okay, so it was not registered correctly. Okay. Let me be safe. Okay, I'm gonna change a different emulator. Not sure if there's something wrong with this one. I'll start a new one. This one here. All right, let's run this one more time, and then it's going to trigger another build. Yeah, but anyway, guys, I was trying to really explain this kind of a structure. Okay, you will see this a lot. Use Firebase to make a call, but immediately you specify two sub-functions. Okay, what happens if things are executed successfully, and what happens if things are wrong? You must do both, because if you don't do the error part, then if something is wrong, you don't even know it. Like the one here, you see it was showing the error because the yeah, we're running out of space. Run this one more time. So previously, you can see it says network issue, which is very weird, but let's see. I don't know if it's because that one didn't have Wi-Fi here, but let's try it. All right, so authentication demo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do sign up. Okay, so this, I think there's something wrong with the emulator. Anyway, so this one failed, and then they show the password should be at least 6 characters. This is coming from this line. Okay, fail to sign up, and then here's the error message. So that's how you specify the two callback: successful, unsuccessful. And if unsuccessful, what is error? So I'm going to fix it by adding one more 6, and I do sign up. And this time it shows successfully signed up user. Now, if you see that, I go back to Firebase, I refresh, and you can see this is the user I just put here, and it's today's date. And the user ID and everything is showing up. Okay, so that's how successfully you talk to the Firebase service. Okay, but I want to show you how simple it is. You add a dependency, add an import file here. It's literally one line of code to do everything in a perfect security way. And also does all this authentication for you. But you must be very familiar with this kind of structure. Then catch error. So is this one, you're going to use this a lot. Whenever you do Firebase, it's the same structure. Okay. For them part, normally there's some return value. So if you want to know what they're returning, so again, look at that thing here. It's the user credential. So that's what they're returning. So if you want to see what's inside, you can actually take a look, value dot. You can actually get the user, and that's the user information. And from there, you can find the UID, email, all this data you have. A very important one is this UID, because that's a unique ID provided by the Firebase. Okay, this is a component just because of this. Again, the null checking, I really don't like it. It's just yeah, it's just something. I don't know why they're doing this one, but anyway, so let's try to run this again. Okay, if I run this one more time, I sign up. I shouldn't be able to sign up because the user already exists. So you see the email address you're already in the used by another account. I'm going to change this one. Sign up again. All right, so this time you can see it's the UID printed because I was trying to print this UID from this call here. Okay, going back to the server here, I refresh. You got one more user showing up. Okay, so that's how you do sign up. Now, if you're familiar with this, let's do the login. Login is going to be exactly the same thing. Okay, this time I'm going to write it all together. Okay, watch carefully. So bring up the app. So Firebase Authentication .instance. You use Singleton to trigger the same instance. Click on dot and use the method called sign in with email and password. Hit enter. Email coming from the username controller.text. Password coming from password controller.text. Okay, let's break the line into two so that's easier for you to manage. And let's start a new line, do dot then, and get a function here ready. Do dot catch error, another function ready. Make sure you actually provide the error object and you're finished. This one here, print failed to log in. And just to be clear, print the error. Right, this one here, just print successfully log in. All right, so let's run this code one more time. Exactly the same structure. The difference is function call. Okay, so go back. So one, two, three, four, five. This is incorrect. I log in. The password is invalid, or the user does not have a password. Fail to log in. I do 6. Click on login, and successful. All right. So once this is successfully, and then you can then maybe go to the home screen, and then you do a navigator to navigate it all from this screen, and you are finished. Okay. So that's how you can use authentication as a service. It's the simplest service, but it really shows the Firebase works. It shows the power of a Firebase. It's very, very convenient. That's why you don't have to build any kind of backend. Just use this one. Will be enough for your app. They also have, I was scanning the documentation. Okay, they have a lot of cool features. Okay, for example, I saw that they have a persistency. This one here. I think they can even do, I think this one here, like if you already sign up and then they can keep the credential on the device, you don't have to do that again. All right, so you just need to set this one to be yeah, I think you would set something like this to be true or something. It will actually keep that cache, and you don't have to do that again. All right, so everything is managed. And they can also do the anonymous login. I don't know how that works. The email is the one I showed you. And then you can also do the Google stuff. You can also enable the email verification. Yeah. Anyways, it's very convenient service for you. Okay. So that's how you set up Firebase and also the simple example of authentication service. So any questions? How many of you already configured a Firebase? Okay. All right. Yeah, but definitely be careful about the version. I think the lecture I showed probably is already updated, outdated. And then this one, you know, I'm using a Flutter version probably from 4 months ago, and looks like they did a lot of other updates recently. That's you know, the issue with the latest development frameworks. They're more aggressive changing the language. They don't worry about the backward compatibility. They just ask you to update everything, adapt to the new rule, which I understand that make a lot of the changes easier, but definitely cause a lot of these troubles. Okay, so anything happens, just Google it. Google the error related with Flutter, you should be able to see something similar. Okay, so let me stop recording here.